Hello everyone, this is Joe here with Joe Talks, and today we are going to take a look at the HSFTOOLS HF96V thermal camera. And so I bought this off of Amazon and shopped around for quite a few of these and had it narrowed down to a handful of them. And I had actually bought the Top Don TC004 camera and had it ordered, had it paid for through Amazon. And when I initially bought that camera, it had said that it was on a 2-day delivery. And so I bought it and I kept waiting for a delivery confirmation date. Waited a couple days, 3 days, and never came. So I ended up canceling that order. And that TC004 was about $285. So after tax, it was pushing almost $300. And that camera was really more than what I was going to use it for. So I really just wanted to buy one of these to look for leaks in my house, look for hot spots in my electrical panel, just little things like that. Not for professional use by any means. And that top dom was probably overkill for what I needed. I had actually even looked at the TC005, which was over $400. But I kind of set it on this one, and this was listed for $200, and so I went ahead and bought it. It really has most of the things I needed. And come to find out, when I went to process the order, there was even a $50 coupon. So I ended up getting this all in with tax for about $180. So I was pretty happy with that. So I want to take this out and take a look at it. So this is how it's received. This does come on an Amazon box, so it doesn't look like this sitting on your front porch, but this is the box that was inside of the Amazon box. And so let's go ahead and take that out. We'll take a look at it. Okay, and so there's what we have. Comes with, looks like a calibration card and a some kind of thank you card. I don't know, take those for what it's worth. Calibration card really doesn't have any technical data on it, just has a date and a serial number. So if that's of any use to you, is what it is, I guess. Has an instruction manual, obviously. Looks like the entire instruction manual is in English, and it's about 10 pages long. Goes through all the basics of how to set it up. Pretty straightforward, I think. It's got some foam packaging. Looks like it has a compartment right here for something, but it's empty. I kind of suspect they probably use the same packaging for several different models of cameras, or yeah, thermal cameras. So there's what it looks like in the box. There's a small accessory box. Okay, and it has a charger. It's got a USB-C charger, and looks like it also has a USB-C to a, is that USB-C 2? I don't know all the actual acronyms, but basically a USB-C to what you might think of as a conventional USB adapter, and then to a USB-C. So depending on what kind of computer you have, I think some of the iPads and stuff use a USB-C, whereas most of your Windows uses the conventional USB port. And then I think this is cord is used obviously to charge it, but I think you can also run this into a I think they have another piece of software where you can download and analyze your photos and videos, or if you just want to offload your videos onto your computer, this is how you would do it. Okay, and then the camera. So there's everything, all of the components of the box. So all right, pretty straightforward. The top, there's an opening for the USB-C, and then when you're not using it, it's a one of those rubber plugs, just kind of seals off that port. It does have a screen protector. I'm going to leave mine on for now, but I don't know if you can see that little blue tab. Just pull that off. We got 4 buttons on the front. So there's a power button, looks like some scroll buttons, and then a return button. So I believe we just hit the power on and it should activate. And I'm not going to go through all of the setup procedures, but just some of the basic stuff. So there you saw about how long it takes for it to power up. I believe this will record video and audio, or and images, so a picture and video. One of the things I really like about this camera is it has the multiple viewing modes. So you have thermal. I don't know if you can see in that you have just a regular camera, and then it has a what they call a fusion mode, where it overlays the 2 images on top of each other, so you kind of get a clearer picture. And then you hit that by hitting the scroll up button, and then scroll down. You can change the different color palettes. And then obviously you can go into the menu and set your time, your units, all of that stuff. I'm not going to get too deep into that. But there you have it. It's pretty light. I mean, probably less than a pound. Feels pretty sturdy. I mean, I'm not going to beat it on the desk, but there you can kind of, it's got a rubber, kind of a rubber housing around it. I probably wouldn't want to drop it too far, but if it gets banged around in your toolbox or something a little bit, I'd say it's okay. It does not come with any kind of carrying case. So some of the other ones I looked at came with carrying cases. So if you're a professional and you need something like that, that might be of importance to you. So anyway, there it is. I'm going to go out and get some images. It's a little bit after dark, so I'm going to go around the outside of my house and take some photos, and I will load those up and then give you kind of my thoughts on what I think of it and its use. So okay, so I just took the thermal camera outside and got some shots of my house from the outside perspective. Saw a lot of cool things. I saw a few spots where there was some heat escaping. It is going to take a little bit of getting used to, but anyway, it works pretty well. Now, I was mistaken earlier when in the video when I said that this takes still images and video. Apparently, it only takes still images, so it does not take video. At least not where I could find in the manual, and I couldn't get it to take video, so I'm assuming it doesn't take video. All right, but otherwise, worked really well. It does have a laser pointer. I didn't notice that right off the bat. I think you can turn that on and off, but otherwise, pretty handy little tool. So for not a whole lot of money, really, less than $200, you got a pretty good, weekend warrior thermal imager. So there you go. So let's take a quick look at some of the photos that I took. Here's a picture of my dog Bailey. It's kind of cool. You can see the hot spots in her cold nose. Here's another picture of my cat Jasper. Kind of the same thing. Here's a picture of my daughter. In this picture, you can see how the fusion overlay works. This is the regular photo overlaid on the thermal image, And it's kind of cool how you can pick out the detail and have that transparently overlaid with the thermal image just to add more detail to that picture. Here's an example of the outside of my house. I thought it was interesting to see how much of the foundation actually emits a heat signature. When I said there was a little bit of getting used to with this camera, I think changing the emissivity setting might impact this image a little bit, but relatively speaking, seeing how much that foundation is actually absorbing heat, I thought was pretty interesting. Here's an image of our front door. It's kind of interesting. You can see the heat that is escaping around the frame of that door. Here is an image of that same door on the inside view. Kind of gives you an idea of how the camera picks up, the heat exiting the house. And on the inside image, you can see that same frame showing a cold signature. So, that's a real good signal that there's heat loss in the house. And here's another kind of close-up image of that heat escaping around the outside of that door. There's a pretty significant signature there. One thing I do like about this camera, and I think most thermal cameras are like this, you notice there's 3 different crosshairs. You've got the one crosshair that is in the center of the image, and then there's a red one and a blue one. So the red one automatically finds the hottest temperature in the image, and then the cold one finds the coldest temperature. And then I like the way that it actually reads out the temperature. So here we can see in this image, the hottest spot is, 42 degrees, it looks like 46, something like that. So compare that to the inside of the home that's, roughly 70 degrees. It kind of gives you some numbers to match up to, how much heat is actually being lost, because sometimes these thermal images can auto scale and make a heat signature look worse than what it really is. So it's nice to have that actual temperature readout to kind of let you calibrate to what the image is actually showing you. And so here is another example of an interior door. You can clearly see the cold spots where the heat is getting out of the door. So, here's another opportunity where we could go try to seal this door up a little bit better and improve the heat loss. And, probably not make a big difference in our electric bill, but if we do this across several spots around our house, it might add up. And, over the course of year over year, it could make a difference, so. And so here's another example of a set of double doors we have in our house. Again, you can clearly see heat escaping the home around the base of that door. Another interesting thing in this photo, you can see a heat register there. So it's kind of cool with this. You can, if you have your HVAC running, you can see the heat either going up the side of your wall or across your floor, depending on what kind of heat register you have. So it's kind of interesting. You can see how your HVAC heat is actually getting distributed throughout your house. And here's an example showing our 2 HVAC units we have. So we have a heat pump system, and these are obviously the units that are outside. We have one for the upstairs and one for the downstairs, and both of those are running when I took this photo. And one thing that jumped out at me is I've got one of the electric motors are running significantly hotter than the other one. So that may be something I want to investigate. Maybe that motor is drawing a little bit more current. Maybe it's at its end of its life cycle. So something that just jumps out, and right away with this thermal camera, you can see that almost immediately. And here's a couple of close-up shots of those 2 motors. You can see how using that crosshair, I can pick up the actual temperature of each of these motors. So you can see that one is running about 10 degrees hotter than the other ones. So even though that thermal image, the one motor looks like it's really glowing, this is an example where you can hone in on the actual temperature. And, if that temperature is, 60 some degrees, if that motor was really bad, it would really be glowing hot. I mean, it would be probably so hot you wouldn't be able to touch it with your bare hand. So at 60 degrees, probably not going to be too awfully worried about that, but might be something I want to keep my eye on, in the next months or years. Okay, so there you have it. Thought those were some pretty cool images. So if any of this helped you out, please help me out. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. There should be a button down here in one of these corners that you can hit. Take you right to my page and hit that subscribe button. Really helps me out trying to grow my channel. So anyway, have a good one and on to the next one. Thanks.